They announced Siegfried today. Not that I'm surprised, but that's pretty cool. Siegfried, in case you don't know, he's kind of like Devil Jin and Jin. There's two different character archetypes, Nightmare and Siegfried. Originally, they were a clone character of each other. And then they just removed Siegfried and turned him into a palette swap, like a costume. But the move list was still regular old classic. Then in part 3, they separated the move list into two characters, like Jin and Devil Jin, kind of. So I would have been I would have bet on him being in the game, is what I'm saying. I would have bet on that. Obviously, if Nightmare is in the game, there's no way that version of Nightmare can exist in Soul Calibur without Siegfried, because they're so different. One would be so sorely missed. So, that's cool. But, he looks neat. His armor looks really good. Overall, the game's looking good, right? I think so, at least. I love Soul Calibur. It's gonna be like, this is like some secret tingling sensation that I get on my labia majornos, but I don't talk about it too much because, what's the point of talking about it too much? Let's just wait for the game to get a release date. Let's unveil some more characters, then we can get real fucking turned up about it, right? But right now, I'm just like secretly excited about Soul Calibur because it's going to be a lot of fun to learn how to play, and hopefully the online will be good. If the online is good, this will be the first Soul Calibur game that is released by the Namcops with a good online mode. I'm not talking about Soul Calibur 2 with the Dolphin emulator that those Smash players made,
Happy Big Monday, RS. Think there'll be much of a tournament scene for us, see?
I don't know. It's hard to say. It's a little early, I think, to know. But Soul Calibur is an interesting kind of a concept, really, because the community itself is so...
Thank you.
Like, I don't know. There really isn't really much of a community, is what I'm saying. There are several people that like it, but nobody's really unified together, working together to do anything. They've just been like, whatever. There's no Soul Calibur around, and we're just going to not exist. So it's kind of like the Virtua Fighter community in a way. They skipped over the esports kind of phenomenon, right? So they're kind of stuck in the past. They don't realize how things work just yet, but I think they will eventually. Like, for example, one thing I've heard is that Soul Calibur players are displeased that Markman and Rip are doing commentary for it, but they don't realize in the time that has passed since the last Soul Calibur, commentary itself has become a serious career for some of these people. So there's no way that it's not even like, it doesn't even make sense for someone like a random Soul Calibur player that you really like to get the job over someone who is a commentator for a profession, like say Rip, right? Or Markman, or whatever. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense in terms of the people who all these years have been doing commentary for all games. Like, there are people like Steve and Sayjam, they're just commentators. They do commentary for all games. So it doesn't even make sense to be like, okay, well, that's cool, but we're going to get this total fucking noob that really liked Soul Calibur 5 a lot. Doesn't make sense. Yeah, a lot has changed since the last Soul Calibur game.
Thank you.
A shitload has changed. But what hasn't changed is the Soul Calibur fans that were huge supporters of that game, but don't play anything else, which is unfortunately a lot of them. This is part of why it's recommended to not just like one fighting game. It's better to, even if you only really like one, just pick a second one to kind of, it'll make you better at the one you like. Usually that's what I've always recommended. Play a different game. There are a lot of cool games. Well, these days a lot of the games are trash. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not one of those guys that's like, don't talk shit about other games, I'm the first guy talking shit about other games. But maybe you'll like one of them. you know, as far as fighting games ever, damn, what is this talking shit over here? This is a blowout, huh? Yeah, all the games out these days are trash. So, I mean, you can only play Tekken if you want. But before there were a lot of cool games that were pretty popular. It's just that the newer ones are not my favorite, you know? But that doesn't mean you have to feel that way. I mean, Tekken's a really great game. And then there's other stuff that you could try out, maybe dabble with. Soul Calibur is coming out. You might enjoy that. I can't really say it's good yet because I don't know. But I know it's going to be a lot of fun. That's for sure.